Joining me now, Greg Sheridan, foreign editor, of course, at The Australian. Greg, the Australia, Israel and the Jewish Affairs Councils have said they reject this statement. They say it absurdly accepts Hamas propaganda. We all want this war to end, but how it is ended and what becomes of Hamas, that's also critical in any equation, isn't it?
Yeah, Peter, great to be with you. You're right, of course. Look, I think the Albanese government is not trying to have any effect on the Middle East. It's just trying to manage domestic politics. Because it took against Israel right from the start, it now has no influence with Israel at all. A few things to remember about this. The overwhelming moral responsibility for what is an appalling human tragedy in Gaza lies with Hamas. They could end all this fighting tomorrow by releasing the 50 Israeli hostages they have, of whom we think probably 20 might still be alive, perhaps 19, and 30 are dead. Now, Hamas wants this devastation. It wants its own people to suffer this devastation because it figures that this is damaging to Israel. On the other hand, that doesn't exempt Israel from its moral responsibilities, and it does have, as the dominant power, an absolute responsibility for the civilians in Gaza. I mean, this is a terrible circumstance. The statement itself is internally contradictory. It says we need a negotiated ceasefire, and then it says we need an immediate unconditional ceasefire. There is a ceasefire on the table. Israel has agreed to it. Hamas is rejecting it. I don't think that these statements achieve anything, and I don't think the Albanese government has done or said anything useful about this terrible, tragic situation since the first terrorist atrocity on October 7.
What about the slaughter of Druze civilians and Christians by terrorists in Syria? Christians, I have to say, right across the Middle East are being slaughtered. I mean, where's the statement there from Wong? Where's the UN? Where's the marches? Where's all the other things we hear about in terms of Gaza?
Yeah, the sad truth is, Peter, that unless a murder is conducted by Americans, Israelis or Australians, the Australian left has no interest in it. So there are people dying in very large numbers in Yemen, in Sudan, in the Congo, Christians all over Africa and in parts of Asia and all over, not all over Africa, but in several parts of Africa, in several parts of Asia and in the Middle East, are dying in large numbers, being killed, being murdered by Islamist terrorists. And honestly, the government may have said something about this. I get 300 emails a day, and I may have missed the one where they condemn the slaughter of Christians in Africa and the Middle East. But I haven't heard I can't recall a single word from them. And lately, this terrible killing of Druze and other minorities in Syria. But that's why I don't think any of this stuff is driven by genuine moral outrage. It's driven by politics. And, unless the villain is from the designated set of villains, the international left simply has no interest in talking about the matter.